Hi again, Mark here from Talking Bass. This week we're going to look at 7 great bass moments from Duff McKagan's work with Guns N' Roses. Duff is such a great bass player with one of the most recognisable tones in rock. Duff McKagan plays with a pick, and he uses a Fender Precision Deluxe fitted with a set of PJ pickups. So here on the Enfield, I'm set to red and green, which gives me the PJ setting. And he often also uses a chorus to give his lines that characteristic sparkling tone. So I'm also using a TC Electronic Corona chorus pedal. It's also important to note that Guns N' Roses generally tune down a half step. So instead of E, A, D, G, these strings are tuned E flat, A flat, D flat, and G flat. As always, the tab and drum tracks are all there over at talkingbass.net, so just click that link in the info below. Also, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. Then remember to check out the totally free membership over at Talking Bass. Talking Bass is now a complete social network for bass players. Just log in and you'll be able to connect with over 100,000 other bass players from all over the world in the forums, groups, and chat rooms. It's very much like Facebook, but for bass players, but with the addition of over 450 free bass lessons, a ton of free practice resources, and a set of ebook downloads such as the Scale Reference Manual. Then, if you want to take things further, there are the premium courses on everything from beginner bass to reading music, to scales, chord tones, slap bass, ear training, and much, much more. So, sign up today, remember it's totally free, and join a great bass community. Okay, so first up we've got a classic riff from Appetite Destruction in the shape of Rocket Queen. It's 113 beats per minute, and with the track we have... Okay, so with Rocket Queen, we've actually got 3 riffs to look at, but it is essentially one riff just moved up a 4th and then a 5th. So when I talk about the notes here, I'm going to be talking as if we're not tuned down. So when I say, you know, the E there for the open E string, I'm saying E, not E flat. For that 2nd fret there, I'm saying F sharp. So we're in F sharp minor and we begin on the open E string. Then we've got the F sharp at the 2nd fret. So... and I'm using the middle finger, the 2nd finger there, to fret that F sharp, ready for the next move. So then we have open A string and then a hammer on to the A sharp, which is the 1st fret, which I'm doing with the 1st finger there. So now when I do that, I'm going to be bringing the thumb round slightly to mute the E string, you know, to choke that off when I play the hammer on. Then we've got a ghost note, so if you don't know anything about ghost notes, all we do is lay the hand lightly across the strings. In this case, I'm actually using the thumb a little bit for that, to give us that choked note there. So, okay, so then we've got the open E string again. So the ghost note is leading into the open E. Okay, then 2 notes on the F sharp again, 2nd fret of the E string. Then next we have the hammer on that we had there from the open A string to the A sharp. We just play that twice. Okay. And that's the riff. So just start out really, really slow with that, really try and get that ghost note in there. Now, in terms of the picking, you can play downstrokes for a lot of this. So downstrokes for the first 3 hits there. But then you want to use an upstroke and alternate picking for the ghost note there. And for the F sharp there. Then when it comes to the 2 repeats there, you can use just use a downstroke there. So just use alternate picking for the fast little bit in the middle. So the section we're looking at here is from where the vocal comes in. So we have that riff 4 times. Then we move the whole thing up a string to the A string, so we're playing it a 4th higher. So we have... We'll play that twice. Okay, so exactly the same pattern, just moved up a string. Then we take the whole thing up a tone, so we move up to the B and the C sharp there. So the 2nd fret has now taken place of the open string, and you'll be able to see it all in the sheet music and tab there. And we only play that once, and then we just have these hits on the E at the 2nd fret of the D string. So 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. Okay, and that's it. So, and that's the whole of that section. So you want to practice that slowly, looking for good technique and getting those ghost notes in there and all that good stuff. And then just gradually build up speed slowly. Don't worry about backing tracks or metronomes or anything like that. Just get it under your fingers first, playing it consistently at a slow tempo. Then you can build up speed, and then once you've got the speed up, you can try using the practice tracks over at Talking Bass. There are 3 practice tracks for this tune: 93, 103, and 113 beats per minute. So let's just have a listen to that at the slowest tempo, 93 beats per minute. Now let's try a little quicker, let's try 103 beats per minute. And now let's try full speed, 113 beats per minute. Next up, we've got another bass feature from the Appetite for Destruction album, and this time we're looking at the intro to the song It's So Easy. It's 155 beats per minute, and it sounds like this. So this intro pretty much all takes place on the E and the 9th fret of the G string, and we have a grace note from the D sharp at the 8th fret. So a grace note is just a little lip up into it. So we're playing a little hammer on. So you hit the D sharp there at the 8th fret, and you hammer on very quickly, like a flam effect, into the E. So, okay. So the rhythm of this is what we really need to look at. So we have this certain grouping. We have 1, 2, 1, 2. So if you can just imagine playing that. That's 2 sets of 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, and we just play the grace note on the first of each one. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so that's our group of 2. Then we have a group of 3. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. and then we have another set of 3. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we have 3 sets of 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And that's that first bar, okay? So okay, or 2 bars. So these are 8th notes. So that's the opening there just before the drums come in. And really, even though I'm sat there saying 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, you're better off just listening to it and getting a feel for that groove. You know, if you can sing it in your head, you'll be able to play it, and you just put in those grace notes where you need to. Now, after those first 2 bars, the drums come in and we play pretty much the same thing, but we don't play the 2 sets of 2 at the beginning. We just play a set of 4. So the rest of it's the same. So that's the opening, and that's it when the drums come in. So we play that line twice, giving us 3 in all, and then for the final line, the 4th, we have the following. Okay, so we have this little fill at the end. So, same as the line before. So after the group of 3, we hold on that E at the top, and then we have this little drop down of E, D, B. So 9th and 7th frets on the G string, and then the 9th fret on the D string. Okay, so now we have an open G string before that little line, and it's pretty much it's not a ghost note, but it kind of operates a little bit like a ghost note. You're just playing that open G string just to, you know, there's a kind of ghost note. So I exaggerated it there so you could hear it. So then, if you want to move into the rest of the riff, you've got an open E string leading us into that B flat there. There's the main riff. So now, for the picking, you can play it either all downstrokes or alternating. So if we're playing it downstrokes, which gives you a more kind of incessant, kind of aggressive tone, or you can play it as alternating, which just gives you a bit more fluid sound. Whatever you want to go for with that. I'm not sure exactly what he used on the original, but probably downstrokes. When you do that, if you're going to be playing downstrokes, or even if you're going to be alternating, you want to use the heel of the palm there to mute off the other strings. So you can see there, I'm muting the E and the A string pretty much, and then the kind of part of the thumb there is almost muting the D string, so that way we don't get any of that residual noise on the lower strings. So let's try the whole thing slowly. So as with all the riffs, you want to start out slowly and then just gradually build up speed. Then you can try with the tracks. We've got 135, 145 and 155 beats per minute. So let's have a listen to it at 135. So just work your way up through those tracks and eventually you'll be able to play it at 155 beats per minute. Next, let's shift over to the Use Your Illusion 2 album and have a look at the great bass riff from the song Locomotive. It's about 118 beats per minute and it sounds like this. in the key of A major, we start on an open A string. And this is pretty much a pickup bar or an acrusis where we come in on the 8th note before the bar. So we're going to be coming in on the and of 4. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Or 1, 2, 3, 4 and. Okay? Then we're going to hit the A again on the and of 1. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and. Okay? So that's the first thing to get down. Next we have this little climbing line of. So we've got C sharp to D, so we play the C sharp at the 4th fret, hammer on at the 5th fret, so then 2 open A strings, so then we've got the D sharp at the 6th fret of the A string, then we've got the E at the 7th fret of the A string, so next after the E we've got a ghost note. And then we've got the F sharp at the 4th fret of the D string. So then we hit the F sharp again. And then we hit F sharp to G, just like we did C sharp to D. So we've got the hammer on. So F sharp to G, 4th fret to 5th fret. Okay, so. Okay, then we've got 2 hits on the open D string. Okay, and then A at the 7th fret of the D string, then open D string again, and then the G at the 5th fret of the D string. Okay, so. And that brings us nicely back down onto the A on the and of 4. Okay, so again, we've got that pick up into the next bar. So. Now, before the advent of YouTube and isolated bass tracks, I would have probably played this riff more like this. So you can hear there I've got more ghost notes going on. You know, I'm putting them all in between those notes on the A string. But there is an isolated bass track of this on YouTube, and when you listen to that, you can hear he's not doing that. There, between that C sharp and that, the D sharp and the E, there's no ghost notes there. So you can put them in if you want them in there, and you know, most of the time I probably would. But if you want to play it more authentically, we don't have them in there. So again, we've got 3 practice tracks for this: 98, 108, and 118 beats per minute. So let's just have a listen to the slowest and the fastest. So at 98 beats per minute, it'll sound like this. So now let's just have a listen at full speed, 118 beats per minute, and remember that pickup bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? Next up, we've got that killer riff from the song Paradise City. It's 100 beats per minute and sounds like this. So we're in the key of G minor and we start on the G 3rd fret of the E string. So we're pretty much using just a few notes here. We've got the G, then F, F sharp, G, so 1st, 2nd, 3rd fret, so then repeat again, so, and then we have, so G, F, 3rd, 1st, 3rd, 1st, then 3rd, G, and then the B flat at the 1st fret of the A string, so, okay. So far so good. It all seems very, very straightforward, and the next part of it is as well, but it is a little tougher than you might think. So let's just look at the next bar. So we've got then. So same thing again, but this time instead of the B flat there at the first fret of the A string, we play C, B flat. So 3rd fret, 1st fret, okay? So. Okay, and we just put those two together and loop them round. So, like I said, seems pretty straightforward, but it isn't actually as easy as you would think. So, first of all, you've got the picking action to deal with. So, it's all alternating through that. But then when we come to hit the A string for that B flat, you've got to hit on that B flat with an upstroke, okay? So that can catch you out initially, and then when you get to the C, B flat, that time we're on a downstroke, okay? So first time, we're on that upstroke, and second time, we're on the downstroke, okay? So, like I said, seems fairly straightforward, but if you don't take that into consideration, you can get a little bit twisted, okay? So, upstroke, downstroke, okay? This is also one of those riffs where you can get a little bit finger twisted in this hand because it all moves around in such a small space and on the same string. So you need to be fairly accurate with your picking, or at least the actual coordination between both hands. It's also in a very low area on the bass. So for this, I use the fingering 1st, 2nd, 4th. So index, middle, and then pinky. You can use the first 3 fingers if you want to. You know, that's fine. But it tends to be a little bit cleaner if you're just playing 1st, 2nd, and 4th finger. You know, either way, it doesn't really matter. But still, it's got a fair stretch on it if you're a beginner. Okay, so with all of that in mind, with the with the picking, with the stretch, and with the coordination between the hands, it's worth taking this one really, really slow. Take it that slow. Don't just think, this is easy, and then start whacking away, because it'll probably get really messy. You know, it'll all get messed up, so. So I've provided 2 tracks for this. We've got one at 90 beats per minute and one at 100. So let's have a listen to it at 90. Okay, so once you get to that tempo of 90 beats per minute, just loop it round and round and round so that you get really, really good with the muscle memory of this and the coordination. Then eventually you can try full speed at 100. Next, let's look at the song Coma from Use Your Illusion 1. This is the opening to it, and it's 126 beats per minute. So this tune is in the key of A something, you know, it moves between a major and a minor third here. And we start on that major third, the C sharp at the 11th fret of the D string. So then we've got the open A string, which gives us that nice little major third interval, or 10th. So, okay. So we hold that note on while we play the open A string. Then we move down to the C natural at the 10th fret of the D string to give us the minor third. Okay? So each time we're just letting these ring out one over each other. So. Then we move back up to the C sharp again. So. We play that C sharp twice, so with off beats there. So. back to the C. So. Okay, and that's the whole of that riff, round and round. In terms of the picking, you can just play downstrokes for this, and for the fingering on the fretboard, you can just use the first finger if you want to, so. So very, very simple, but you know, it's a cool sounding riff that you can, you know, play to your friends, or you can play along to the original. It just sounds cool. I have provided two backing tracks here, one at 116, one at 126. Most of you probably won't need to use the 116 one, but it's there if you want to play it slowly. So let's just have a listen to it at full speed, 126. Next up, we've got what is probably the most famous song released by Guns N' Roses, Sweet Child O' Mine. And what do you know? It's also got one of the most famous and most melodic lead bass lines ever recorded. It's 125 beats per minute, and it sounds like this. So we're in the key of D major, and here we have a beautiful line weaving its way through the three chords D major, C major, and G major, okay? So it really, really helps to know the chord tones of those chords, because that's going to help with memorizing the line, because you'll be able to see it working around those notes, okay? So you want to know D major, C major, and just the major arpeggios there. So we've got D, F sharp A, C, E, G, and G, B, D. So if you don't know anything about chord tones or arpeggios, I've got loads of lessons online dealing with those. So you want to familiarize yourselves with those if you want to make it easier on yourself. So for the first little line, we have the following. Okay, so D up to the F sharp, so 12th fret on the D string and then 11th fret on the G string. Okay, outlining that root and third of that arpeggio. Then work up through them again. D, F sharp. Then we've got the G, 12th fret of the G string, and then the A at the 14th fret of the G string. So. Okay, so this is all, like I said, taking place around that arpeggio, but we have that passing note of the G leading between the third and the fifth there. Next, we have this descending line of. Okay, so this is B, A, G, F sharp, D, open D, and then C. So 16th, 14th, 12th, 11th frets on the G string, then 12th fret D on the D string, open D string as a kind of open ghost note leading into the C there at the 10th fret of the D string. In terms of the kind of theory behind all of this, again, we're just working around that D major arpeggio. Okay, so we've led up to the 6th, which is that neighbour note of the 5th there. Remember, everything's working around the A, the F sharp, and the D here. So then coming down, A chord tone, passing note, down to the chord tone, and then down to the root note. So again, like I said, if you know your arpeggios, and you can see the arpeggio in there, you can just see that you're moving around them. It's a lot less to think about. I know that this all sounds theory-based, but really, if you know your arpeggios and you know about all this other stuff surrounding them, it makes learning this stuff and memorizing it really easy. For the next line, we have the following. Okay, so we've got C, 10th fret of the D string, up to the G, the 12th fret of the G string, so that's that nice perfect fifth interval. Then so C, F, E, C, F, E, C. So 10th fret of the D string, then 10th fret of the G string, 9th fret, and then back down to the C at the 10th fret of the D string, played twice. So then open D string again as an open ghost note, leading into the G, 10th fret of the A string, again landing on the root note. And just over that C there, just to let you know what's going on there. We've got that lovely, perfect fifth there, first of all, that interval, that nice, again, chord tones, root and the fifth. And then for this, we've got, again, chord tones, the C and the F, but this, the C and the E, but the F there at the 10th fret of the G string, that gives us a sus4, so we're suspending it. So if you've ever heard of a sus4 chord, this is what we're doing here. So, okay, or just thinking of that F as a neighbour note, suspending it, leading onto the E. So, suspension and release. Okay, and then we're back down to the root note of the G major. After hitting that G at the 10th fret of the A string, we have this little slide up. So we've got C up to the D, 10th to the 12th fret. So I'm playing that just with the first finger. So, and then we hit the 12th fret of the G string. So, and I'm letting those two ring out. So. And then we have the same line that we had on the C, just a tone up. So D, G, F sharp, D, G, F sharp, D. So 12th fret D string, 12th fret G string, 11th fret on the G string, and then down to the 12th fret of the D string, played twice. Okay, so very slowly we have. Now, in terms of the fingering here, I'm using the second and the first finger there for the initial major third. And then I'm just using the first, second and fourth fingers, index, middle, pinky. Then I move up with the pinky to hit that B at the 16th fret. So, okay, so I'm on the pinky there. Then I come down, second finger, first finger, so middle, index, and then I'm able to slide with that first finger down. So it's first finger and then second finger again, where we started. Then I've got first and third finger for the fifth there, and then for that bit, I'm playing the C there at the 10th fret of the D string with the second finger, and I'm using the third finger and first finger, so ring and index, to play the top two notes there, the F and the E, and again using that second finger, the middle finger for the C. So then first finger for both of those, and then again second, third, first, second for the little sus4 thing on the D. Okay, you could play those sus4 by barring the finger, but I just find you have less control that way when you're playing these melodic lines. So again, just pay attention to the fingering. So practice that slowly and try and think lyrically with it. Try and think expressively or vocally. Don't just hit the notes. You know, try to think a little bit more expressively with the pick. So maybe a little bit lighter. You know, a little bit of vibrato in there. When you're playing these kind of lead lines, you want to think expressively, and it's just going to sound so much better. So we've got two practice tracks here, 115 and 125, so let's have a listen to it at the slow tempo of 115. And now let's try full speed. Finally, let's let's have a look at the song The Garden, also from Use Your Illusion 1. This tune's 82 beats per minute and it sounds like this. So this is a deceptively difficult line. We're in the key of D major and we begin with this open A string, C, third fret of the A string, and then back to open A, little hammer-on pull-off move. So, okay, so we hit the open A, hammer on the C, and then pull off back to the open A. Then we have G sharp up to the A, 4th fret to the 5th fret on the E string. So this is all on a crucis, a pickup bar. So we're on the beat 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, it's a 16th note triplet and then 2 16th notes if you want to know the rhythm. So we've got this triplet. So triplet and then we're into F sharp at the 4th fret of the D string, pull off to the open D. So that's the main move here. We've got now this is fairly tricky because of noise. It's hard to stop a lot of these notes ringing because we're playing these open string pull-offs. So what I'm doing here is I'm muting the E string with the kind of palm of the hand there as I play that little trill there. Then when I come back down onto the E string, I move across, play upstroke, downstroke for the G sharp to the A, and then I bring the hand back onto the E string when I play the pull off on the D string. So that's the move right there. So all of this is to do with cutting down that residual noise. Okay. In terms of the fingering, I'm using the first finger for the hammer onto the C, and then I'm using the second finger to the 4th finger. So this is the middle to the pinky for the 4th fret to 5th fret on the E string. And then I play with the second finger, the middle finger, for the F sharp up on the D string, pull off to the D. After that line, we've got 3 hits on the open D string. And then we're into the next line, okay? So okay? So then on the second time, instead of the F sharp there at the 4th fret of the D string, we're actually playing the 3rd fret, the F natural, instead. So we've got a minor 3rd here instead of the major 3rd. So there's a lot of major minor 3rd interplay here. There's the minor 3rd. Then on the 3rd time, again, it's the F natural, the minor 3rd. And then on the 4th time, we're back up at the major 3rd. Okay, so major 3rd, minor 3rd, minor 3rd, major 3rd. Okay, so F sharp, F, F, F sharp. Just think high, low, low, high. Okay? So, as I said, this is deceptively difficult and it's one of Duff McKagan's tougher lines to play. So you want to start out really slow, really focusing on all of that muting and, you know, getting the lines working as you're moving across. Work on it really, really slowly and then just gradually build up speed. So I've got two tracks here. We've got one at 72 beats per minute and one at 82. So let's try it at 72. finally, you can work up to full speed, 82 beats per minute. Okay, please like, comment, subscribe to the channel and follow the link below for more lessons and videos. Then sign up to the Talkingbass Network and membership to gain access to a massive community of like-minded bass players and a ton of bass practice resources and downloads. Okay? I'll see you next week.